Hey everybody, how's it going? This is a Deathwing tactics video for Belial. I'm going to go through the HQ, starting with Belial because he's required HQ. Now what do I mean by that? Um, Belial is required to unlock Deathwing Terminators as a troop choice. So that's what this video is on, Belial. He has 130 points, so he's very well point costed. He is flexible in terms of he has 3 different war gear options for no additional point cost. So he can be Stormbolter or Mastercraft the Power Sword, or Twin Lightning Claw, or Thunderhammer Storm Shield, which is nice. And he can turn one squad into a pseudo command squad, upgrading one guy into an apothecary and one guy into a standard bearer. So, pseudo command squad, is it really worth it? Well, doing both, while cool, would be a bit expensive point-wise. And the thing with Deathwing is you want to squeeze every drop of juice out of it. You're going to want to not have points spent on things that really won't be necessary, because you're small enough as it is. So I recommend one over the other for the most part, unless you really have nothing else to put points into, which can happen. Due to the minimum point cost of things for Deathwing, you could have a decent, you could have some points left over where you could upgrade to have both if you wanted to. But if you're gonna do either, and I personally don't, although not saying because it's bad, I just haven't, because I don't have the model for it really. I didn't convert one up yet. I would recommend going with one or the other, and I would recommend the Apothecary over the Standard Bearer. The Standard Bearer's +1 to attack characteristics for the guys in the squad is nice, but the Apothecary's Feel No Pain rule, because now the FAQ does Feel No Pain, is nice. That would actually probably save me a lot from those really pesky times where you're rolling 3 dice for a squad, and 1/1 comes up just because it wants to be spiteful and come up, for lack of any other real technical reason. This turns it from, oh man, really, to okay, now feel no pain. Oh great, it's still alive type of thing. It gives it a second chance. Now keep in mind, things that are going to bypass Terminator armor are going to bypass feel no pain as well. But it still is nice for just the regular armor saves where you should by rights make it. That being said, what about Belial as himself? What should he go as? Well, all 3 weapon options have their place. And while you can have him on foot attached to a squad with all 3, I would heavily recommend either defracking him in, if you're cool with that, or using a transport, aka the Land Raider, Crusader, to transport him. And why do I say Crusader? Well, transport capacity of 10 for a standard Land Raider will not let Belial fit. Terminator armor counts as 2, and squads are 5-man squads. So you're going to need a Crusader to make him mechanized. And that's important to keep in mind. That's going to be a bit of a points chunk. And not even that, you're going to need specifically a Land Raider Crusader to transport him. Now, it's not necessary to transport him with Twin Lightning Claws or Thunderhammer Storm Shield, but a lot of people like to do that, and if that's something that's in your head, then be prepared to have a Land Raider Crusader in your army. Not that it's a bad vehicle, but I personally like having a Land Raider over the Crusader because of the last cannons for Deathwing, and that's another video. But looking at the weapon options, the Twin Lightning Claw and the Thunderhammer Storm Shield options are pretty much opposite ends of the spectrum, I feel. Thunderhammer Storm Shield, you got your 3+ and 1 save all the time, making it very survivable, which is making this thing a very attractive option for a lot of Deathwing players now. And paired with that Thunderhammer and his 3 attack space, 3 wounds, and weapon skill 5. Remember, he's not weapon skill 6, weapon skill 5 using the old captain stat line. He's a pretty formidable opponent. 2+, 3+ is nothing to laugh at. So he can take on pretty much anything. you know, you got a monstrous creature, whatever. It's a vehicle. You're gonna charge him from a Land Raider. Awesome, I can hurt it. That's a Dreadnought. Okay, let's do this. He will always be able to wound, or at the very least glance something, and that's great. However, just because he can hurt everything doesn't mean he should be assaulting every little thing. He is not the most attractive option for hordes or dealing with mass amounts of infantry with the Hammer Storm Shield. Going at that leadership of 1 hurts you there. Plus, you're not generating as many attacks. That's where the Twin Lightning Claw comes. And these are both what I consider really aggressive options for Belial. Thunderhammer, Storm Shield, Twin Lightning Claw. The Twin Lightning Claw, 3 attack space, plus 1 for having 2 Lightning Claws, gives him 4 attack space, 5 on the charge. That is nice. He will be good at dealing with tactical marines, knobs even though the Thunderhammer Storm Shield would also be very good at that. And being that it lets you reroll to wound, he can even, I would say, assault toughness 5 things, and not so much get away with it like nothing's wrong, but I would be more comfortable assaulting toughness 5 with Lightning Claws than I would be with just the Power Sword. Although I have assaulted toughness 6 with just the Power Sword, but that's a different story. The point is, the Twin Lightning Claw can do well against, like, squads that may be toughness 5, or, power armor squads, or a combination. Going at initiative, if you can take advantage of that and get into a situation where you can assault and still be at an initiative, would really help as well. And depending on what the squad he's with and backed up with, you can really lay into even horde armies via assaulting with essentially a 6-man squad, 5-man Deathwing and Belial. If you're going to do that, I highly suggest coming out of a Land Raider Crusader instead of on foot. Lastly, is what I call the tactical option, or the command option, I should say, and that is the Stormbolter or Massive Crafted Power Sword. This is more of I call it a leadership role, because the other two are very aggressive. While this one, he can hang back a bit, you're not relying on him getting into close combat to really make use of his weapons. Yes, the Massive Crafted Power Sword is nice, but he also has that Storm Shield. He can stay with a shooting Terminator squad, or a shooting heavy squad, and help pick things apart before charging in for the kill. And when you do charge in for the kill, you're going to have multiple wound, multiple attacking, Massive Crafted Power Weapon, smacking people in the face, which isn't bad. Yes, I wouldn't really assault things higher than toughness 4 with it, even though I have done that with mixed success. He still can, up to the normal restrictions for strength 4. I use the Massive Crafted Power Sword and regular Stormbolter HQ. That's what I've been running him as, and he's worked pretty well so far in that role. And while the others can be walked across the battlefield too, I am most comfortable with him walking across with something that can shoot. Mostly because I like shooting and having things shoot instead of just walking across and then running or whatever. So those are the 3 weapon options. Pick what you will. All of them are good. Don't think that Thunderhammer Storm Shield is the best because of the 3-up invuln save. That's not necessarily the case. All of them are good options. Now lastly, some ways I utilize Belial in the squad. The squad that he's with, I use, depending on what I'm facing, with higher aggression, or kind of as a lure to get things kind of towards that squad and then, getting up on it. In either scenario, he's going to be drawing some fire. Now, if you have a Storm Shield, you can take some risk in dealing with instant death weaponry as far as putting the wound on him. But that aside, sometimes it's important to keep your squad a full 5-man squad with Belial attached to it. So, if there's 2 wounds, you can put 1 on Belial. Put 1 on a regular guy on Belial, or whatever you want to do, however you want to divvy up your wounds. You can 2 on the squad, whatever. But let's say you got 1 shot coming in, and it wounds your squad, and you don't want to take the chance of potentially rolling a 1, especially for me. You put it on Belial. It's a risk, of course. He could fail the armor save, but he's not going to die. He's going to be dropped down to 2 wounds left if he hasn't been hurt yet. And this can mean the difference between losing a valuable part of your squad, depending on what's near it and what you're going to do, and having the full squad and being that much more of a deterrent against possibly charge or whatever it is. People will be more willing to charge a 5-man squad of Terminator Sport down to 3 than it would be a full 5-man squad, obviously. So that's one way to utilize Belial. I also utilize Belial as a kind of as a way to kind of draw certain units out, like the Corn Berserkers or a big squad of boys. People like to charge into your HQ and kill them. It's people like doing it. I like trying to kill the enemy HQ at the same time. I don't know. It seems it's more of a challenge. It's fun, and you can utilize that by kind of not overstretching a bit, but moving and having him at the front, and then you can kind of fold it back with the mobile firepower of Deathwing, and then come in instead of as a spear point as a hammer and hit this big squad or hit the berserkers or do whatever you want to do. It also can help direct enemy movement as well as firepower, because they're going to be, I've had on several occasions people ask me, mostly because he looks very similar, where's Belial again, and then I point to it and then they do stuff with that. So you can utilize that knowing that people are going to be looking for him regardless of what configuration he is. And the fact that he's multiple wounded, you can keep a squad, a full 5-man squad, by putting a regular armor save on him, just in case you're like me and love to roll ones. Plus, even if it's AP2, as long as it's not instant death, you can try that 5 of invuln save, or if he's got that Thunder Hammer or Storm Shield, put that invulnerable save on him, 3+ invuln save, chances are he's going to make it, keeping the squad alive. It's a nice thing. It really does help Deathwing out a lot, because remember, each loss is felt keenly, so if you can take a wound on Belial instead of losing a Terminator, that can really help you out in the long run. Anyway, I hope that made some sense. Went on a bit longer here, but you know, he is the main HQ you need to take to run Deathwing. So up next are going to be either the Interrogator Chaplain in Terminator armor or the Librarian in Terminator armor. I want to go over all your HQ options you have for a Deathwing army, so that's why we're going to do that. I don't know which one is next, but one of them will be. So until then, take it easy.